Hey guys, welcome back to Marsha Speaks. This is Marsha on a beautiful Sunday morning in Florida. Well, yeah, no, it's still morning. I am doing a review on Charmed Season 2, Episode 4, The Deconstruction of Harry, which is actually a pretty good name for what happened in the episode. So the episode starts off with them not being as stupid as I thought they were. Because I remember from last episode, what's her name? Macy was not acting right at the end, I thought that she was believing what Abigail was saying, too quickly. And come to find out in this episode, the episode starts off with Abigail being in a force field, kind of like how they originally used it to low-key torture demons for information. So Harry and Macy are using the force field to extract information from Abigail. Abigail says that she is also, she wasn't lying, she is a half witch, half demon, and that she is the overlord. I thought they were going to extend out the identity of the overlord if she's not lying, that is, because she could just be lying and saying that she's an overlord, but she's not. But it would make sense that she is the overlord, because in the last prophecy, Macy ended up being the one that fulfilled the prophecy, and she was half witch, half demon, because they were afraid that she can tip to either side of the scale. And then Abigail is the same situation as Macy, so she's like the anti of Macy, so it would make sense that she is the overlord. But I don't understand how Abigail chose the demon side, because we're gonna say that for later. So from there, they are extracting information from her. They're saying that she said that she was, I guess, in doing a BDSM thing. That's the way it kind of felt like on the episode. And the partners that she was with was killed, and then the assassin came and tried to kill her. And next thing she knows, she's in a cold area with frozen things like refrigerators and stuff like that. And from there we flash to not Macy. There's too much. And Maggie. Maggie feels guilty that she used her powers to get the position, when technically 9 times out of 10, Jordan would have been the one that got the position for the manager position. And she sees Jordan, boxing, and Jordan is saying that he only has a couple more days in the space before he has to return his key. I think he said it was the end of the week. And then, so technically that's not the end. The Maggie finds out that there is a good karma project which allows safe space to fund a specific area so that it gives back to the community. So for that reason, Maggie sees that this is a perfect opportunity to pitch the boxing as a wellness program for lower income areas, or for people who normally wouldn't be able to afford this exercise, right? I think it was a great idea. I think that it helped negate her guilt, because she is giving back, and then the thing that was going to be the negative repercussion of using her potion allowed her to, combat that. We don't see Mel's possible love interest in this episode, which, based on everything that happened, it makes sense. But I just thought that was a little weird, because we kind of left her at a cliffhanger the last episode, and in this episode she wasn't anywhere to be found. And then from that was what Maggie was doing at the beginning of the episode. Mel was still trying to figure out what these potions do, basically how to get her powers back, because she hasn't given up. She just doesn't want to torture an innocent to get her powers, but she still wants her powers. So she is trying to figure out all these potions, and then Harry is also doing that too. He's trying to figure out, his plot of the episode was trying to figure out how to read the Book of Elders, right? And I'm just gonna put the beginning of what Maggie's storyline is. So she works with Jordan to to get the good karma project going. But before that happened, she touched his hand, like they shook hands, and Maggie saw a premonition. The last episode, when I did the review, one of the commenters was saying that Maggie's powers isn't premonition. It's like emotional connection. And in this episode, we find out that her powers may be evolving to premonition. So I guess her powers from last episode was like a pre-thing to premonition. I guess it makes sense. But the only way the premonition works because she shook hands with Jordan. So Maggie tells Mel that, but Mel thinks that it's just, she's becoming infatuated with Jordan, which is why Loki thought as well. But that ended up not happening. So she's like, I'm just going to try to figure out how to get like this premonition thing to come again. From there, Maggie talks to Harry, and Harry is like asking her, what do you think this letter means? Is it like, it doesn't look like a C or a T or an E? But it ended up being one letter. And when they said it out loud, this like spider thing came out of the book, and it crawled away. They followed it, and it's a safety, like it was just a key to a safety deposit box. In the safety deposit box is a card, a driver's license, a magical driver's license, because once Harry touched it and went to his face, it was Harry's face on the card, and a little envelope saying Alpha. So he's trying to figure out what it is. Inside there's like information on what's the thing called? I wanted to say Turnip so bad. Turnip Institute. And in the very first episode or the second episode, we saw that was where the institute that the witches were in, like it's an insane asylum. So he's trying to figure out he goes down that path to figure out that breakthrough, and Maggie goes to the other path and tries to figure out how to make her premonition powers work. But Maggie, I'm gonna stick with Maggie though. Maggie, she throughout the like trying to do the good karma project, she consistently trying to touch Jordan, thinking that is Jordan that is the key to her premonition. And I'm like, I get it, but at the same time, it's being hella weird because nobody who's working on a job assignment is that touchy-feely. Like, it was little off. And then we find out later that Jordan has a girlfriend, or as she called it, his law classmate. And I'm like, nah, y'all trying to be girlfriend boyfriend, but whatever. And I'm like, on top of that, like, you touchy-feely with somebody who's already taken. Like, that ain't a good look. But we know why why she was doing it, but he doesn't know that. He just thinks that Maggie's being weird. And I found it hilarious that when Maggie met his girlfriend thought she was an intern for Safe Space, and he's like, no, I'm the manager. Get it right. And I'm like, but you probably would have been an intern at this time. But, I think that if not being a love interest, I can see Jordan more so being a good friend for the women. Kind of like, what was that? The token black character in the original Charmed. He was the cop. He was their good friend in the police department. But I guess in this case, he just could be a good friend for the girls. But yeah, I can see them being friends. And I think Maggie got it wrong. I don't think Jordan was a key. I think the ring that he had on was a key, right? Like, because when they shook hands, that's when she saw the premonition. It wasn't when she was necessarily touching him. It was when she was touching his jewelry. Because throughout the episode, he was touching. Thank you, Daryl. But we can't lie, like, that was a token black character of Charmed. Like, I have to give them leeway because it was the 90s, but that used to get me so mad. I was like, and then how they did him dirty at the end, like the later seasons, it was so irritating. But yes, Daryl does deserve to have his name spoken. But yeah, I think Maggie got it wrong. I don't think it was necessarily him that was a key. I think the jewelry he had on was probably the key. But And we find out like fun tidbits about him, like he was a medic in the military. He was raised by his grandmother. His grandmother had like some like health issues, and that's why he came back. But the most interesting thing I thought was that they were the first Black family in the area. And I'm wondering how far back is that family? Like, were they there when the elders came to Seattle to make that their headquarters? Were they there when the insane asylum was like fully running? Because possibly maybe there is some witch bloodline in him, or he has some kind of connection to like magic. But that was Maggie until the end of the episode. Mel is getting roasted, honestly, throughout the episode. She was getting roasted by Abigail because she has no powers, and it was hilarious. It was hilariously sad. Like she said in the episode, like she at the end of the episode, she went from being one of the most powerful witches to someone who doesn't have any powers, and she just rocking a fanny pack full of potions that she barely knows works. Like it's kind of sad. But Mel, Macy, and Abigail were orbed to a specific area in, like, I don't want to say, maybe it was Wisconsin, Minnesota, but where there was a bunch of trees, and they're trying to backtrack where Abigail went when she originally got kidnapped. At first, when I heard the Sith, I thought it was a trap as well, but apparently it's not. Abigail didn't know that the beast was there. That demon can't see; they can only sense motion. So it makes sense to use them as like a security breach, like a security for the assassins' headquarters. They kept on saying that, oh, these demons were probably like his underlings. I'm like, what's to say that he didn't pick this specific area because he knew that this is where they were, and this would be more of a safety measure for his haven versus like him using like them being part of his plan, like a willing part of his plan. I think a lot of stuff like it just needs to be tweaked a little because he can orb, so he doesn't have to go through that the woods area to get to his headquarters, but other people do. So he just used them as like guard dogs, maybe without even them knowing. But when they get there, they almost die. But in the end, they find a opening to the assassins headquarters. When they get there, they find that like the assassins there was a piece of horn of the synth, and Abigail determined that it was the queen. So the main leader of the synth was like getting kidnapped by the assassin, and so they bring her back to their house, which I thought was dumb. Like, why would you bring her back to the house? She was blindfolded, yes, so she couldn't see anything, but she could see inside your house, so she can look out for entry points and exits. Like, that doesn't make sense. Why you bring her to your house, bring her back to safe space, because that area she already knows, and you already know there's only one entrance, one exit. So I didn't know why they brought her back to the house. That was so dumb. But they brought her back to the house, and they are figuring out a plan of how to get the queen back, and which is probably why the main sync was probably yelling. Maybe it was hungry, but it also knows that its queen is missing. So they create a tracking spell with the horn. While Macy was helping create this, her and Abigail are having a heart-to-heart about being, half demons. And Abigail before told them that, oh, you should know who I am, basically, because she's a Cain. She's half Cain, like Parker. So, but Parker is, half demon, half human. Abigail is half demon, half witch. Apparently Cain was having sex with a witch, and when she got pregnant, he called her an abomination, even though technically she says that she's stronger than both of her brothers. But since she wasn't a man, they didn't want her to be part of anything, which, patriarchy makes sense. But that's what I didn't understand. because they Macy asked her why does she talk like that, like why does she have that accent, and it's because she was raised by her mother, and her mother raised her in Sussex, England, right? And I'm like, so you were raised by a witch, but yet at the end of the day you chose your demon side, you chose to impress your father and all that stuff. Like, I'm confused. I was like, if you're raised by your witch, wouldn't you be more likely to view other witches favorable, unless this witch who was having sex with a demon didn't like other witches or actually sympathize for what the demons are going through. I don't see how she, being raised by a witch, would choose her demon side instead of just using her demon side and not like having necessarily the most sympathy towards it. But that's neither here nor there. I do find it interesting, like, that we see the different views of like being, I guess, a mixed person in the world. Like, which side do you necessarily more are willing to or inclined towards? Because Macy chose her witch side, and Abigail chose her demon side. And Abigail was saying that, like, if anybody is the demons, is the bad guys, it's witches, because you guys hunt and kill innocent demons. And they were saying that demons hunt and kill innocent witches. And Abigail actually said that she killed, like, the other witches, the witches that were dead the last episode or the episode before. She killed them because she's an overlord, and she was trying to unite the demons. She found a way to take the poison that the assassin tried to kill her with, titrate it down, and used it against the other witches. And that's why I'm confused. This is why I was okay with Mel being angry towards her, because you killed them. And then Macy was like, still like having full-blown conversations like this is a normal thing. Like, she killed the people that you were distraught over a couple of episodes ago, but now you okay with it. Like, that didn't make any sense. And when they were backtracking to when Macy was creating the potion, they're talking about her demon sides, and of course Abigail's explaining her story about how she came to be, and Macy is telling Abigail how she is half demon or part demon. And I'm like, that is so stupid. You should have asked, when she asked you how are you half demon, you tell her that's a strong none of your business, okay? Not your business. When you ask again, is the answer still gonna be none of your business? Because that is information she can use against y'all later on. And then when they were having a heart to heart about, the stupidity of patriarchy, right? She was saying that, she hopes that she succeeds, but Macy was saying that Abigail, that she hopes she succeeds in basically uniting the demons. Like, are you dumb? Like, I'm confused. Macy's like one of the smartest in the group, so why is she making these dumb comments? Like, that didn't make any sense. You don't want her to unite the demons, because it's, for you guys as it is, it's hard fighting the demons one-on-one. And now you want to fight the demons when they're united against a leader that is clearly smart and forward-thinking and all that stuff, and knows your weaknesses because she's part witch. What the heck? How does that make any sense? Why are we friends? Like, right now, we are cordial because Abigail, we have a common enemy, which is the assassin. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Once it's over, we go to our separate sides. Never the two shall meet. Like, I'm confused as to why we're being chummy to a woman that clearly said that she killed witches, and then said that, oh, my bad, I didn't know that they were, like, I guess I should have killed them because we have a common enemy. Like, what the foolishness? I don't get it. Make it make sense. Does anybody get it? Like, why are we acting like this is okay when it's not? Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. But they try from there. They get the tracking device, the tracking spell, and they put it on a compass, thinking that the compass will work, but it's not working. They said that Abigail again is roasting Mel, saying that this is probably not working because, you suck as a witch. And Mel is like, maybe it needs a living agent. instead of an inanimate agent. So she decides to that she's sick of hearing the way Abigail likes to talk ish, and jakes the spell, not knowing the negative repercussions. From there, we see her having a seizure. Like randomly, it was kind of poor acting of a seizure, but you see her having a seizure, and then her eyes glaze over like the sense, and I think that's what we're calling them. And she's able to find the queen. When they get to the hideout where the queen is found, we see that it's not just the queen that the assassin took. The assassin took the high-ranking people and and basically it's turning it into like a museum or a collection, right? He goes from group by group by group and takes the leaders of those groups and is holding them in this like frost chamber thing. And it makes sense because the person that the other people that he attacked the charm ones, which would be the strongest the strongest witches, which is another group. He attacked the overlord, which is I guess in their sense the strongest of the demons. So he's going after all the head people, and the reason why we know this is because Abigail again says that this is the queen of the banshees. She's been missing. I think they said a week or two ago. They didn't know where she was, and now we know because the assassin took her. That is kind of scary because this assassin's forward-thinking. I don't know what the plan for him is yet. Like, why are we taking all the like head people? Is it to make the other groups weaker, to create a vacuum and destabilize the demons? Or like the magical world, so that it's easier for you to overtake it, or the overlord to overtake it, because I'm not 100% sure that it's Abigail. That would be actually a good smart plan for the overlord if that was a plan, which would be to destabilize the demon world and make it easy and create a power vacuum and make it easier for him to unite the demons. Or is it because he was trying to figure out a way to turn these head demons into his own like assassin group and as him as the leader, right? Like, I don't know what the plan is, but he's clearly thinking of these things. From there, Mel finds where the queen is, and the queen is banging against the glass because they're supposed to be sedated. But I guess since the queen is the most recent capture, she isn't sedated and she's pretty large. So she is attacking the glass door, and it finally breaks. She is set free. They were thinking that like, that the queen was gonna attack them, but Mel is communicating to the queen, and the queen was basically saying thank you, and she bounces. From there, we see that the other demons were waking up, and they're like, well, these are supposed to be the best of each demon group, right? Like, it's time for us to roll out. But I really don't remember how Macy got away from the group. Oh, I think it's because their plan was when they saw the queen coming towards them, Abigail was going to attack the queen from the front, and then Macy was going to go and attack her from the back, but the queen wasn't planning on attacking them. She was just saying thank you. So when she bounces, all hell breaks loose, lights are coming off, fog is going everywhere, and they're like, that's how Mel, Maggie, Abigail gets separated from Macy. But then we see Harry come out of nowhere, right? And I knew that it was not Harry. One, because Harry is dealing with his own issue, which we will get to. And then two, Harry's orbing skills still has not like fully healed from the potion. Because if it did, then that would mean that in my case, I would think that, Mel could, work on her powers too, and Mel still doesn't have her powers. So that's why I knew it wasn't Harry. And we see Macy asks Harry what is the safe word. I don't know if he said it or if he because he doesn't show us Harry saying what the safe word is, but they just leave and say we're going to, regroup back in the manor. Now, Harry. Harry's plot line or storyline for this episode, in my opinion, is the most important because it explains so much from like background wise and origin wise for the White Lighters and from in the original series, the Darklighters. Because they always used to say that Darklighters are just demons, but they never said how the Darklighters are created and who creates them and who chooses the Darklighter to be a Darklighter. Like, yes, well, kind of, because back in the original series, they used to say that the created White Lighters had like 24 hours to choose if they wanted to be good or evil, blah blah, kind of like witches, which I think is kind of a lame excuse, but whatever. This one makes more sense. So Harry is going on his breakthrough journey and goes to the insane asylum. He uses the driver's license and the other stuff that was in the safety deposit box and is allowed to see a woman. What is the woman's name? I don't know, but we will get to it in the next episode. She is like not speaking. She's nonverbal. She just kind of is, faded. And until Harry says, like, uses the word elders. And then she goes crazy. Like, she scratches his face. She's going nuts, going berserk. And then Harry finally gets her to calm down. And he says that I'm not an elder. And when she hears that, he heals her face. And then that's when the word alpha, which is what the word was on the envelope with her information, she's the first White Lighter, right? He really figures this out when he goes and finds like another safety deposit box with the key that was in the original safety deposit box, and you see information about her. She was born in like the 1800s or 1600s, and she is the original White Lighter. So he goes back and asks her, what does it mean that the White Lighters were created at a great cost? Because he doesn't know what that means. I guess none of the White Lighters, in the White Lighter 101, they never told them the origin story. If they did, it's a lie. So, come to find out, the nurse that was like, bringing Harry to the room, she said that the main person, let's give her a name, not something with M. Ellen, we'll say Ellen. Like that Ellen isn't the problem. Ellen is sweet, she's quiet, she doesn't really do much. It's her sister that's the problem. And he's like, sister, there was nowhere in the paperwork that said that she had a sister. The nurse brings him to another restricted area, and we see it. Originally, it looked really creepy. It looked really creepy. Like an insane asylum isn't creepy, but it looked really, really creepy compared to where Ellen was. And he goes in, he doesn't see anything until this woman pops out and like starts like hitting the door and like yelling and da 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 da. But she looks exactly like Ellen. And then when Harry goes back and talks to Ellen, she's like, he said that, oh, Ellen isn't your sister, is she? And we find out, no, Ellen isn't his sister. The great cost that was spoken about before is that when you create a White Lighter, you're also creating a Dark Lighter. And I'm like, wow, that makes more sense. Like the elders, like their methods were, like, I get it was for the greater good, but their methods is very grimy, which makes me understand why Abigail thinks that you guys think that you guys are the bad guys, but it's really a gray area because the methods you're using, yes, for the greater good, but for the status quo more or less than the greater good. But it's kind of messed up. So that is the origin of the Darklighters, and I thought that was so interesting. It made it more like, not conniving and manipulative because it is, but it made it more like realistic and like strategic, because if the elders created the White Lighters in the time of their great peril, like when people were coming after them and blah blah, like it would make sense that they thought that this was a means to end. It was a sacrifice that had to be done, and they'll try to figure out a way to deal with it later on, right? So that means in my mind that every White Lighter has a counterpart Dark Lighter, right? And they had a lot of White Lighters in the TV show before, they all died. But that doesn't necessarily mean the darklighters are dead. That just means the whitelighters are dead. So I'm wondering what is going on with all the darklighters. And did all the darklighters die? Because originally they were saying that in episode 1 that all the whitelighters died because they were connected to the elders, and the elders are dead. Does that mean the darklighters are dead now too? Because in a sense you were connected to the elders too. Or is it more likely the assassin who is a darklighter riled up all the darklighters and told the darklighters, you need to kill your whitelighter counterpart. So technically all the whitelighters aren't dead because they're connected to the elders. They're dead because the darklighters killed them, and they never knew about the darklighters because the elders didn't think it was smart to reveal that information, because that would make them viewed in a negative light. Like, I think that makes more sense than them being connected to the elders, and since the elders are dead, the whitelighters are dead. I thought it was gonna be amazing once we find out that, like, how the whitelighters were created, because we need more whitelighters for these witches that are still out here in the coming war. And my question is, will the charmed ones make the same decision that the elders did? Because the war is coming, and at the end of the day, war is war. Like, you can't choose. Like, there's no good in a war, and people make horrible decisions that they never would do otherwise during times of war. So will they choose to create more whitelighters when they finally know how to do it, and when they finally decipher the book of elders? Will they choose to follow the same path that the elders did? I would say no, because I know the charmed ones don't really like the way the elders move. But again, the coming war is coming, so I don't know if they would choose, like, or maybe will they figure out how to create whitelighters without creating darklighters, which is the ideal, right? Like, I'm wondering if they will still choose to create the whitelighters, knowing that there would be a darklighter that they would have to deal with. But yeah, that was the episode. I really liked it. Oh, the episode really ends off when because Maggie got a text saying that, Harry's home now. And they thinking that, so when they get to Manor, Harry asked them, like, oh, no, not Harry. Maggie asked Harry, where's Macy? And Harry's like, what are you talking about? She's not with you. And that's how they knew that the person that took Macy isn't Harry, it's the Darklighter. And I'm pretty sure the next episode, Harry's gonna explain the origins of the Darklighter, and that this person is actually him. Or I think the only way to answer this question, how to create more Whitelighters without creating Darklighters, is to figure out how to keep them as one. Because Ellen is saying that Ellen told Harry, right, that the other woman, the crazy one, right, she is actually a part of her. So when they create the Whitelighters and the Darklighters, it's basically like a split of one person. So when they create new Whitelighters, if they can figure out a way to not cause a split and keep them as one being, that would work, I think, in my opinion. Or maybe that is the evolution, or the pre of the original series, where a Whitelighter can choose which side that they are on, because they are able to keep them as one being, but they have to choose whether or not they want to be a Whitelighter or a Darklighter. That would make sense. But yeah, I really like this episode. I can't wait. I didn't see the promo for next episode. I can't wait to see how the deconstruction of Harry, like how they get Macy back from the assassin. Will the assassin confirm whether or not Abigail is the overlord? I don't think she is. I think she could be like the next up. Not that I don't think the overlord could be a woman. I just think that it's too convenient right now to really identify who the big bad of the season is, because they're making sense the big bad is the assassin, or is it the overlord? And I don't know which one is worse. So I can't wait to see that. I want to see them get their powers back so badly. But I know it's not going to happen anytime soon. But I really want it to come sooner, or at least, you know, glimpses of it, like they did with Maggie's powers. I want to see the love interest of Mel again. I kind of want to see what happened to her, like, because in the last episode, at the end of the episode, we saw her still being tortured with the worms. So I want to see if, like, has it evolved and gotten progressively worse. That would be easier, like, and I want to see Mel get a job, right? I want to see Mel, because we see Maggie, she's working as a manager, assistant manager. I kind of want to see Mel work at the little witch shop, the herbal shop. Not only will that let her keep an eye on the tortured innocent, but it would also give her, you know, income and a reason for being at safe space, other than the fact that, you know, you're visiting your sister, because nobody visits their sister that much at work, you know. So those are my predictions. I really like this episode. I love the title of the episode. I can't wait for next episode. Did I miss anything? I don't think I did this time, but that's probably not true. I'm just going to leave it on for a couple minutes to see if you guys comment, if I left anything out. I kind of like Abigail in the sense that she's a complex character for a villain. But I don't like the fact that they're making her like a friend, because at the end of the day, once the assassin thing is taken care of, she's gonna stab you in the back. Like, that's what she's gonna do. So I'm confused as to why they're making her like seem like she's a friend of the Charmed One, but she's not. I also want to see a backstory of like how she chose the charm side. I'm sorry, how she chose her demon side instead of her witch side. And I want to see like a flashback of her childhood, you know? So, and it was a little weird because she kept on saying that her father chose Hunter. He kept on saying Hunter, 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 and then later on said Parker. But I'm like, you were focused so much on Hunter. Is it because Hunter's a full demon? And Parker, you view Parker as beneath you because he's half human? Because I'm confused as to why, she was so obsessed with Hunter versus like not giving Parker any real like recognition. Because technically, and does she think that Parker's dead? Because I know she knows that Hunter's dead. I know she knows her father's dead. And I love how she called them murderers for killing her father, but her father was gonna try to kill her, like kill them. So justified? I'm confused. But yeah, that was the episode. I kind of really want to see. Oh, and then Maggie was saying that she wanted to talk to her about Parker to see if she knew where Parker was, and don't do that. You guys are giving her information of your vulnerability. If Parker wants to find him, he will let you know. He said that in the last season. Do not try to talk to her about Parker like you don't know where he is, because that is valuable information that Abigail's keeping in the back of her mouth, cataloging all these details, so that later on when it's time to fight y'all, she'll have information against you guys. You guys don't know anything about her. Y'all don't know her headquarters. Y'all don't know what her weaknesses are, but you are willingly giving her information about about your weaknesses. That's not what you do in battle. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But I digress. Neither here nor there. This is the end of the episode, or my review of the episode. I will see you guys next week. I'm excited and I can't wait. Have a great day, guys. Bye.